welcome to the vlog. Honestly, not feeling like I really wanted to on this day one of kind of day in the life of what it takes to be an entrepreneur in the health and wellness space, having brick and mortar businesses, and all the challenges associated with that. About a month ago, me and my girlfriend went to Europe for a nice little France trip. First time we really got away, definitely since the pandemic, for any extended period of time. Ended up getting engaged on that trip, so super excited. My body was feeling really good. So a little background into me is like about 6 years ago, I got done building out a gym down in Fountain Valley, California. Very hands-on during the construction phase. Wasn't really training because I was so active during the construction. And then the first workout after we got open, I was like, okay, gym's ready to go. Let me test this equipment. Got a little workout in and doing just a little deadlifts, a little single leg RDL. No weights on the bar, just, warming up. Got this little tweak in my back. And ever since then, it's been a pretty significant problem for me. Probably daily I've felt it. Some stretches are a lot worse than others, but there's been days that have been horrible, days that have just been like very subtle, a couple of stretches of weeks that's been bad. But recently, so I had this window of like really great couple months. I was really actively training with one of my coaches and really focusing on just like stabilizing the core and working on some of these imbalances, and I was feeling really great. So gratefully, and the trip to Europe, I was feeling awesome. The body was holding up, still a little twinge here and there, but like nothing that I was used to or I wasn't used to or I couldn't work through, right? So I was inspired. I was like, I'm gonna come back. Spacebar Wellness is our business in Pasadena, and it's been a grind because we opened up just before the pandemic, and I'm having to make really tough decisions on what I want to do with that business, whether I want to keep pushing or wrap it up. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it one last ditch effort over the next few months. Body's feeling good. I'm gonna start training for the LA Marathon, and I'm gonna really document kind of what it takes to run these businesses. And also, I really knew that by doing so, I was going to be able to hold myself accountable, because the type of guy that I am, I really need outside accountability. There's certain things that I can really do on my own, very disciplined, but there's other little things that just don't come very easy to me from around like an organization standpoint, that I really need some outside eyes on me. Not being like, hey Jacob, you said you're going to do this, but more so that I said that I was going to do this and people are watching, and therefore I'm going to do it. So a few organizational things, some back-end system things that I just haven't brought myself to do, is in part why Spacebar isn't as successful as it could be. And I really want to try to do everything that I can over these next few months to get it profitable. Again, if you follow me on Instagram or have listened to any of my podcasts in the past, I don't paint this rose-colored picture of the glamorous life of entrepreneurship. I really try to give it to you straight, and I don't really censor myself. I'm an open book. I'll tell you numbers. I'll tell you everything associated with any of these businesses, whether it's our successful gyms that we do have up in Seattle that are crushing it, or this Pasadena with Spacebar Wellness, or our cafes, or some of the businesses that, I've taken L's on over these past couple of years too. Open book, and that's what I want this vlog to be. And I also want it just to be a place for me to share, my thoughts. I'm a part of a few men's groups, and I often feel alone in a lot of the things that I battle with, and these men's groups have really showed me that just by openly sharing, whether it's me sharing or somebody else sharing, you realize that you're not alone. And that's really something that I think is very important, has been very helpful for me. So in an effort for me just to work through some of my processes, I wanted to document it on the vlog. I don't want to feel any pressure around like editing. I've paid editors, I've done all these things, and I've spent a lot of money on that, and sometimes that in and of itself makes it unsustainable. So I want to be able to do this on my own, just upload it, maybe every couple days or whatever. We'll see how it goes. But I don't want any resistance around it, so don't think that this is going to be some freaking drone shot coming over the back of me right now. It's just going to be very simple, day in the life, and documenting that. So although this might not be the inspirational, cool, look at that shredded dude shirtless running scenario, it's going to be the process of the day in and day out of what my real life is right now. And my real life right now is dealing with a lot of freaking pain. I also wanted to try to make this family friendly, so try not to cuss as much. But dealing with a lot of pain, and so Spacebar Wellness, right? It's a wellness center getting people to try to slow down so that they can move forward. So we do all these recovery services, and we created this because of the issues and the challenges that I have felt over these past 6 years with my back. But the problem is that when you're creating these types of things and you're trying to do it at scale and you're trying to bring it to the community, I'm often talking to people about what they need to do, and then somehow you lose yourself in that and you fall off of those same practices and you default to maybe just a bare minimum to get by and maintain a certain physique or a certain level of health, but you're not really doing the things you need to do to keep yourself in the best position you can, especially when I'm a high achiever and I am doing a lot. I need to do more in regards to maintaining my physical health and my mental health. So today is probably maybe the 4th time I've floated in our float tank. And it's because this is where I'm at right now. I'm friggin' broken. I've had to cancel and move a lot of my personal training clients around. So grateful for the relationship that I have with them and their understanding, but that's not something that I can continue to do. So I really need to try to start getting a hand on this, and I have a lot of resources available to me, 1 within Spacebar Wellness, 2 within amazing chiropractors and physical therapists that I have around me, and I need to just do the work, and I wanted this to be a process of, again, accountability as I start to do that. So here we are. I'm in Pasadena right now, loading up the backpacks. Let's walk on in and let's see what's popping off. One of the other challenges with all this that I'm trying to get better at is I have eyes for everything that I want it to look in a certain way. So like a lot of times when I walk in, it leads to a lot of frustration because I see things out of place or say something's not working, the ordering system's down or whatever it might be. So let's prime myself right now. Let me prepare myself for that so that if it does happen, I'm not going to be so frustrated. So let's go see what's going on. So we're located right here on Colorado Boulevard in downtown Pasadena. This street right here is where the famous Rose Bowl parade is every year. So this is about the time of year where they start getting everything ready. The seats all set up. Pretty fun time. Here we are, Lifted Botanical Bar. That's my beautiful fiance right there. That's the one we do it for. Last night we had a comedy show in here, kind of up in this little area. This is our little lobby area. Packed the house per usual. One of my amazing clients is a hilarious comedian and she leads the charge with that. So it's pretty cool to kind of have your community take ownership of kind of what's happening here and help out. That's really an amazing feeling as a business owner, an entrepreneur, and as, a friend, right? So it's like I've always had a really tough time to separate business and relationships. So a lot of that turns into friendships, and it's really cool when you get support like that from them to help carry some of the weight and create some of their own projects within your project. That's pretty dope to see. So let's take it back to the float. Enjoy this time. Should be about an hour. Disconnect, completely turn off all distractions and just float away. All right, that was a beautiful experience. Solid hour, no distractions. Did it fix my problem? Nah. Did I spend a nice hour quiet, no distractions, allowing myself to hopefully slide a little bit more into the parasympathetic space and relieve some of this tension? Yes, absolutely. If you've never floated before, it can be a little anxiety provoking because you're in there with really no distractions, and when you're just alone with your thoughts, can bring up some feelings of anxiety. So I usually recommend people just to kind of breathe through it a little bit and just kind of let go. So now it's time to step on out of here, go interact with the world. I'm really taking my time with it. I took a nice long shower after because I don't really want to go outside because it's still nagging and it's just always on my mind. And you know, in the customer service space, and as being somebody who, you know, really grew up being a hardcore people pleaser and kind of a chameleon in a way to present himself in a certain way to be accepted among certain groups and rise to the top of certain groups. I'm used to being able to be in control in the way that I present myself. So I don't, this day and age, now it's not typically me getting overly emotional in any kind of interaction and reacting in a way. But with this nagging issue, that's not really easy for me to do. So I'm a little nervous about like being out there interacting with people because I'm not gonna be the person that I necessarily want to be out there, which is an optimistic, fun, witty, charming person that I'm used to being. I just want to be quiet. I don't really want to talk to anybody. I feel like I have to always talk about this injury because I look just fine. So I have to get ahead of that to justify why I'm acting kind of like a dick maybe. So yeah, all mental game here as well. A lot of it has to do with just the chronic nature of this being 4 weeks again, really wearing on the mentality of things. But again, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So let's step on out here, get that first cup of coffee for the day, and see if any of the homies are out here to interact with. So here's a perfect example of some of the frustrations associated with, one, my personality, and two, I guess just running a business. There's so many little things, and just the failure to do the little things that ultimately are gonna be the challenge. So if this business doesn't succeed, it's gonna be directly on me, and it's gonna be because of things like this. So, back in last November, we rebranded from one of our businesses called the Fit Bar Superfood Cafe into what we now have lifted Botanical Bar, which is a kava bar, kratom bar, coffee shop, smoothies, and so what I'm saying is here, for a full year of this rebranding, I have not replaced those signs. Those signs are in a shared courtyard that leads right into Sweet Greens, which we already know is a friggin' heavy hitter, ton of traffic over here, and I have not taken the time nor delegated creating a new sign that talks about what it is that we do now. I know, simple, right? Super simple, and this is why there's this friggin' anxiety, I guess, around the need to change these little things, like the cognitive dissonance of the things that I know that I want to do that are going to really have an impact here, stacked up against my my actions. You know, it's not matching up. So it's super frustrating and very uneasy. So, accountability check one. We're about to replace these friggin' signs ASAP. Oh, and while I'm at it, this friggin' A-board too is another one of them. This A-board, super faded. I've been meaning to replace this for ages. So, accountability check. We're gonna check that off. Not today, tomorrow, but I think it's gonna be today. right, Cairo time. Go see Dr. Tim, get his hands on me.
So this is looking feet up. So this is like your back. Here's your erector muscles back here. This is that bone that you can feel, like the spine right through here, L4. And then the white part.
Which one is the bone?
So the bone is right here. It's like a Y. It looks like a Y here. So these are the facets right on the side, and then this is your spinal canal here. The black ones are the nerve roots, and then if you see it's kind of tilted here, so here's like the disc here.
Yeah.
So the disc bulged into that L4 region, compressing the L4 nerve that comes out of this region right through here.
Gotcha.
And then on the side here.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what those were. I was like, are those my butt cheeks? These are my butt cheeks right here?
Yeah, this is like QL, a little bit higher.
Okay.
And then just like more, there's like anterior up front here, and then more posterior here. And then when we go here, this is the front anterior A. So like curvature looks normal, no disc like spondies where it's the actual vertebra has like moved, shifted forward. So it's just that disc displacing posteriorly here. So this is the back here. And then you can even see there's a little bit of that compression into the spinal canal.
Yeah.
Like that white is the spinal canal there. That's there. So this is actually on that L4, L5, and then it's actually a little bit further in. So then this nerve right there is getting pinched right there. So it usually like comes down through here to supply GME.
Stays there. You're just giving more room for that nerve to kind of wiggle around, and
yeah.
So like ultimately you still need to correct or take an effort to not have this progress to be worse.
Exactly. Yeah. Through the active portion, the more that we're able to stabilize the trunk, and then we'll go over some like end range loading, because the way that the disc materials in the middle is called the nucleus pulposus, and then the rings on the outer side. So whenever we have axial compression, right, it can displace certain pressures along the disc, right? So the disc is also, I consider, as musculoskeletal. So say we lean forward. If we lean forward, you know, similar to how there's like leveler, you know, those levelers, where the bubbles stays in that middle.
Yeah.
If it's even, it's going to stay in the middle. If it's tilted anterior pelvic tilt, it's going to allow more compression anteriorly, and it's going to push the bubble. The bubble's going to go towards the back, right, towards the higher side. So similarly, that's why when we go into that flexion, where that head comes down, it's compressed. There's more compressive forces anteriorly, and then torsion, and then it's pushing it more posteriorly here.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So with the ultrasound, when you're laying like this, what I'm trying to do is get blood flow into the disc here. So that way it restarts the regeneration process. The increase in blood flow gets rid of, say, like the kind of the waste, so that it can kind of regenerate and bring new blood and nutrients into the disc.
Gotcha.
And then the stim is going to send the signal down to the symptomatic side, like either probably anterior hip or into the glute, kind of depending on which is more symptomatic right now. Okay. And then go from there. So when we look at the mobilization, we want to still stabilize low back, keep hips mobile, because when we forward flex, instead of getting the motion from the lumbar and then you get the compression up front, then we're just going to hinge at the hips, and this stays at that same angle. Yeah. That makes, yeah.
that driving is so bad. Whatever progress is made throughout the day, I had like a little window of feeling okay, but sitting in the car and driving is absolute nuts. I feel like I got a pretty high tolerance for discomfort and pain, and it's just like really got me questioning that right now, because that's bad the entire time. Just like, you're almost home, you're almost home. I almost had to pull over and like just stand up. Not that that really helps, but it does, I guess, seem to help a little bit. But it is, yeah, driving rough. Literally leg, like almost like this, like just dull kind of pain that just does not go away, where you almost lose sensation of your leg, and like a little sketchy driving actually, because knees just aching. And anywho, enough about me. I'm gonna call that a wrap for the day. Head home, get a little computer work in, spend some time with the dogs, and I mean, maybe take an edible and see if I can let this mind wander off of this discomfort. Enjoy a little TV action. We'll see, but appreciate you guys for hanging out with me today. Hoping to do more of this again, because I'm talking about certain things on this camera, and if it's out there in the world, I gotta come through with it. So today, I did take some steps towards that with the chiropractor. Stay on it. That's where I'm at right now. Level of discomfort, it's up there, but we're working on it. Y'all have a beautiful night. Enjoy the rest of your day.